Yo,
What up?
what's happening? Oh man, huh? Oh yeah. Somebody been getting cut. Welcome to another episode of Head to Head Sports. Brian Parker here with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, man?
Good. Hey, I see you getting ready, man. You already got the jersey. You getting ready?
Yeah, pissing off the Pittsburgh fans today that don't believe that a man could support two teams.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're doing it, man. Very cool. Very cool. Hey, you know what? I support two teams. I grew up as an Eagles fan.
Thank you, man. It does not diminish one from the other just because you like two teams.
Oh,
It's not like liking the Cleveland Browns and the Steelers. That is a no.
That now that would be that would be like me being a Carolina and a Duke fan.
Right. You can't do
that. Yeah. Now see that's you can't do that. That's just crazy. Yeah. That's just crazy.
That is a one or the other situation.
Yeah, you can't have one foot in and one foot out. Now, I've seen families where one person is a Carolina fan, one's a Duke fan, and they figure out how to coexist. I've seen that. Right. But as far as you being both, no, not at all. Not at all. Man, so hey, listen, this has been a crazy 7 days since the last show. It has. And this is just the preseason. So I did a pre-show kind of thing on my Facebook where I was talking about the show coming up at 6:00 and everything. And thank you to everybody out there that's watching us. We're live streaming on YouTube, we're live streaming on Facebook, and we're live streaming on LinkedIn as well. And we will also air the show again starting tomorrow on our Roku channel on Empower Network. And I mean, just in the last 48 hours, it even got crazier. As I was saying on our broadcast, we're doing 2 conferences a week leading up to next Thursday's opener with the Bucks and the Cowgirls. So we've got 2 shows that we can get in before that to finish it off. And we've already covered a couple of the divisions. And now we're going to do the AFC West and the NFC West. And then next week, we'll take the NFC North and AFC South and finish it off. And normally after the last preseason game, for those that didn't know, we only had 3 preseason games except for the Hall of Fame game. So the preseason is over. Right after the preseason, teams have to get their 80-man roster down to 53, that magic 53. Then they get, 16 on the practice squad and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, it's normally a snooze fest because you kind of know who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. Hell, most of us have our fantasy drafts even before the final preseason game because it's pretty much baked in who the starters are and that kind of thing. So not much to see here. Move on. Well, the New England Patriots find a way to stay relevant. They surprised me last year when they signed one Cameron Jarrell Newton as their quarterback. They stunned me again in February when they said, we're going to bring him back. I was like, damn. And sure enough, they surprised us all again in some ways by releasing him yesterday as one of the final cuts in their 53-man roster. Now, I'm surprised because my thought is that you're bringing a rookie in, hadn't taken any NFL snaps, and you're going to you don't want to throw him out to the wolves because, number one, you really want to see how your line is, which is why I'm sure Andy Dalton is starting in Chicago. So Justin Fields don't get his helmet removed from him again. So I'm thinking, okay, with Mac Jones, same thing. You just kind of want him to get used to the speed of the game, see how he does his progressions and stuff like that. And we'll just use Cam as an in-between, maybe for the first, kind of like how they did Tua last year in Miami, Maybe tried him out there for 3 or 4 games. Okay, we've seen enough. He's got some time now. We really think the line will be able to protect him. We've got our running backs, so we don't have to put it all on his shoulder. And Bill Belichick said, well, basically, we thank Cam for everything that he's done. And, it's just a decision that we made, and we had to move on. It's time to go ahead and get Mac acclimated to the NFL. I almost did a good Bill Belichick there. But I kind of figured, and then in my mind, I started thinking about it. I said, there's a couple of things that I think led to Cam being gone. One of the things is if Mac Jones showed you enough in the preseason where you feel comfortable with him, there's a certain way that you have to make your offense work around Cam. And there's a certain way that you have to make your offense work around Mac Jones. So if you're going to eventually in the 4th game have to custom your offense to Mac Jones anyway, you might as well go ahead and install it game 1.
Right.
So I guess they kind of figured, hey, we'll take the lumps early. Hopefully, if Miami don't really do too much, we can sneak in as a wild card if Buffalo get off to a big start and stuff like that. So maybe they just saying, you know what, we can rely on our running game. And he's got 2 really big, badass tight ends that can be safety valves for him too if he can't push the ball down the field. It's going to look a lot like Brady. I'm not saying he's Brady, but it's going to be a lot of dink and dunk underneath. It's going to be a lot of two-yard passes to see if you can turn them into 10, 12-yard gains. It's going to be stuff like that. It may not be throws for 15, 20 yards. He may get 1 or 2 of them out there by luring the defense in, and when they go for the blitz, he strikes. He may be able to get a few of those in, but I think they basically said, we want to run this offense the way that we've always run it. We tried it last year where we did a lot of power and stuff like that, and as a result, Cam got 12 rushing touchdowns. We don't need Mac Jones to get 12 rushing touchdowns. I need James White to do that. I need my other little running back to do that. I need them to do that. I need John New and Hunter Henry to do what they do. As long as we do that and our defense keeps us in games and they're not shootouts and they're low-scoring games, hell, we got a chance to win these games. So I think that it came down to that, and I also think it came down to the fact too that Cam may have made it clear to them that if he wasn't going to be a starter, he didn't want to be there. And I also think, lastly, before I let you jump in on that one, I think it also came down to the fact that I think Cam ain't got the shot. Boom. And Bill Belichick said everything he could in the press conference when they flat out asked him in his press conference. Bill did. The fact that Cam hadn't been vaccinated have anything to do with it? Oh, no. Well, what he means is well, yeah, but there's other reasons that I can give you without even giving you that one. But at the end of the day, the best ability of a quarterback is their availability. And when I have to worry about you having misunderstandings, kind of like how Jada has some entanglements, then I can't trust for you to be there. And I can't sit there, design the offense around you, and then wonder if you're going to be responsible and be there. So I think at the end of the day, all those other things, true, but I think the underlying thing was he ain't had the damn shot.
The shot was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Correct.
I mean, there were issues before just the shot or whatnot, First of all, I did not know that Mac Jones, I don't follow football very closely as far as stats, but I didn't know he led the nation in quarterback efficiency.
Yeah.
Dude was really, really, really good and really, really bright. Stepping forward to the workouts, the pre-draft workouts, he impressed there. He's impressed all of camp in New England, and he continued to impress in preseason. So this guy is just kind of on an uphill climb as far as impressing folks and being the efficient quarterback, and he has his shot. Cam Newton, on the other hand, you got to look at the fact that when Cam hit the free agent wire after the Panthers let him go, How many teams were interested in Cam Newton? Wasn't a whole lot of interest, was there?
Nope.
In fact, there was so little interest in Cam that he basically had to sign for a 1-year deal with the Patriots for $1 million. Now, if you'd have asked me 2 or 3 years ago, would Cam Newton be signing a 1-year deal for $1 million? I'd be like, you must be crazy. But
Yeah.
that's where we are as far as the interest of Cam Newton. There's just not a whole hell of a lot out there. Even when the Patriots let him hit the free agency again this past free agency period, I mean, there was still not a whole lot of interest in Cam Newton. And this is the thing here with Cam as far as where the league sees him at. I know the Patriots did their due diligence before just letting this guy go.
Right.
Meaning they probably called around the league to see what kind of deal they could get for him as far as a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody picked up the phone, man.
Right.
Nobody. In fact, you just getting news today that the Cowboys, who were interested in Cam Newton, decided to go another route altogether with Will Grier.
I'm dumb.
Will Grier, man.
I saw you share that, and I'm just looking like, okay, I'm waiting for the joke. I'm waiting for the punchline.
Crazy. So the interest in Cam Newton is like all-time low right now.
Wow.
All-time low. And you add that on to the fact that he's not had his shot. He's been in COVID protocol, I think, twice now.
Yeah.
You can't have that as a leader of your football team. Now, I don't
No.
know all of the starting quarterbacks situations around the league as far as who's had their shot and who is not. But I'd be probably pressed to think that maybe 80 to 90, if not 100% of the starting quarterbacks have had their shots. Why?
I know two of them that haven't.
Who's that?
Kirk Cousins.
Cousins, you're right.
And Lamar Jackson.
You're right. I knew about Cousins. I forgot.
Which is just that. Get me started on Lamar.
Lamar Jackson, his situation is safe, but Kirk Cousins.
Well, is it? Because this is a contract year for Lamar,
right?
You need to be protecting your future, young man.
Right. I've heard nothing as far as like him being demoted or another quarterback.
Oh, but you know what, Rand, and I said this in my pre-show, and it bears reminding people that, and it reminded me when I was watching Undisputed today, and Shannon Sharp talked about the fact that he got his opportunity. He was a receiver. He got his opportunity at tight end because the man in front of him went out due to injury. And he played well enough to continue, and he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
If we think back to New England 20 years ago, Tom Brady got his job because the man in front of him got hurt, and an opportunity opened up that he held on to for another 19 years. Yeah. He never let it go.
Not even close.
So, yes, I get Lamar and he's on safe ground right now, but those opportunities they move under your feet, and you got to make sure that you properly put yourself in the best position. You're screwing yourself. I think Cam screwed himself.
He did.
I'm thinking Lamar is going to screw himself. Cole Beasley, you nice. You ain't that nice.
Yeah.
You keep on playing. When you get hurt or you unavailable to COVID and the next man behind you balls out, good night.
Yep.
You can puff your chest out and say, I'd rather die than have this and that. Hey, whatever your beliefs is, you want to make it political. It's not political to me. It's about public safety. But whatever. I don't know what's in it. Okay. I'm sure you don't know what's under the hood of your car neither. Whatever. But you make it whatever you want it to be. But at the end of the day, this is a business.
Exactly.
And this is a business that is based on production. What have you done for me? Not even lately. What have you done in the last hour?
Exactly.
And if the next man behind you is balling out, like, normally they say you don't lose your job to injuries. Ask Drew Bledsoe how that worked out.
Right.
He took that man's job, and now Tom Brady is considered the GOAT. He's got all these rings, and he's Tom Brady, and all of that happened because Drew Bledsoe got hurt. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
And
Yeah.
back
So,
to the whole COVID, the shot versus not a shot situation. When you're a wide receiver, Cole Beasley, and you don't want to get the shot, okay, whatever, blah blah blah. You
mm-hmm.
get out, you lose your job, that's on you.
Yep.
But when you're at the quarterback position, you're a leader of the entire team. Man, your personal choices kind of go out the window
You're amplified.
in a private
Yes.
employment in a situation. You want to put your best foot forward as leadership of a team, and sometimes that leadership of a team thing is going to come down to just get the damn shot.
I mean,
So Cam did
man.
not help himself at all in that situation by not getting it, and Belichick is a whole lot smarter
Yes.
than Urban Meyer to come up and just say, "Oh yeah, not getting a shot played into the situation. You're
Oh
not going
my
to get that out of
God.
me."
Dude, every quarterback that's, a first round quarterback knows that your salary as a rookie for the next 4 years with the 5th-year option is pretty much slated into a certain position. Yes, you're going to get a decent deal, but everybody knows it's that second contract that sets you and your family and your grandkids up for the rest of their lives.
Amen.
Josh Allen just signed a deal for over $250 million. $150 million of it guaranteed. He's making
Insane.
$40 million a year. Cam
Insane.
just got $1 million. So you this and Cam, when it was time for him to get an extension, at the time, he got a really nice one too. It was friendly for the team, but it was fair for him. So he's made his money. I get that. But Lamar, the little breadcrumbs that they gave you on your rookie deal fail in comparison to what that next contract gonna be, dog. Baker Mayfield is doing the same thing. He's in the same position. He waiting on that contract. That second contract is going to be what sets you up. They're guaranteed. I remember when they guaranteed, I remember when Sam Bradford got a guarantee and it was like $40 million. They ain't even talking $40 million anymore. They're over $100 million guaranteed. And you got to remember, football is different than basketball. When basketball, they do a max contract, 5 years, $200 million. You know how much that team owe you? $200 million. All of it. In the NFL, if I sign you to a $200 million deal, but you're only in the 3rd year of a 5-year deal, and I void your contract, I don't owe you anything after that.
Right.
The only thing that counts is the guaranteed money and the roster bonuses that you've already taken and your yearly salary up until that point. If I void out the last 2 years and that's still $60 million, all right, dog, well, wish it could have worked out. You ain't getting that $60 million. It's a wrap. So it looks good on paper, but in the NFL, the only money that matters is what's guaranteed. That's what you get. So they got to look. I mean, I understand you grew up, Pop Warner, Pee Wee, all this stuff and everything else, and you played it for the love, but now you also got to play it for the love and play it as a businessman and get your check and take care of your money. So you got to be smart about that at the end of the day. So I think Cam, the other thing that I kept hearing about with Cam, and a lot of people keep saying they don't know if Cam can accept a role of being a backup. Can he say, I'm going to be a backup? Can he accept the fact that I may sign on to this team, and as long as the guy in front of me never gets hurt, I have no shot of playing?
Yeah. And that's the thing with Cam Newton. He's going to have to lower that ego, man. He's not the Cam of 2015 anymore.
Right.
That was freaking 6 years ago, man. We're in different time, different age. What have you done for me lately? What have you put on tape lately? Remember the I think it was a Monday night game last year where he was brilliant.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh my God, we slept on Cam. He's back.
Yeah.
Well, what happened after that? Nothing. Not much of
Nothing.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, and see that's the thing. You see these little flashes, and all that means is that I mean, he's a professional quarterback. So at the end of the day, his skill set is always going to be better than mine. It just means though that he can't always command it. He can't always consistently bring it like that. You're going to see spurts. You're going to see flashes that make you reminisce a little bit. It's like sometimes when you're in a bad relationship and you get out of that relationship, but every now and then when you see the gal, she reminds you a lot of the good stuff. But right around that corner, that crazy just sitting right there.
That's right.
And you stay as hell to far away from it as you can. That's what you do. You stay away from her. Don't let her trick you, because she'll trick you. But so don't let Cam trick you into thinking that just because you see flashes, you're going to get that for 16 games. Exactly. You won't. Exactly. People did that for so long with Kirk Cousins when he was in Washington. He played good enough for you to be 8-8. He'd show you some really good games, and you go, man, he just balling out. He runs to the side and go, you like that? I did. Can you keep doing that?
Can you keep doing it?
Not consistently.
Well, that's the thing with Cam, man. He'll do it every now and then, but the true quarterbacks that are always in contention for playoffs and always in contention for Super Bowls and getting paid that mega money and making those Pro Bowls are the ones that do it consistently.
Right.
For Cam, that is years ago.
Yeah. And, I hope he finds a team to play on. Some people said he just should hang it up if he's not going to accept the fact that he's going to be a backup and a journeyman. I kind of agree with that. I hate that. But I would rather him say, hey, let me just be a backup. He's, the one thing you've never heard about Cam is that he's bad in the locker room. Teammates don't like him. He doesn't get in a bunch of trouble. He ain't beating on girls. Now, he might have some kids out there, but he ain't beating on women. He ain't getting arrested and, all this other stuff. You don't hear about him getting suspended for performance-enhancing drugs or, back in the day when it was smoking weed and all that other stuff to get you suspended. Do he dress funny? Yeah, he dressed funny. But as far as commanding the respect of his teammates and people around him, I've never heard anything bad about that. So I think he would be great in the locker room. I really thought he worked. There's a couple teams I think he could work for. I think he would have been an upgrade in Dallas as far as a backup. I said that on the last show, that if that goes down, do you really want Cooper Rush, Ben DiNucci, or the other dude to actually be your backup? And I know they got rid of Ben DiNucci and they got rid of Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert.
Yeah. So I know that they, did that. Now they got Will Greer, which I'm going, okay, how is Will Greer any different than Ben DiNucci?
He's worse.
I'm like, I mean, are you just really just trying to say, hey, Dak, we have nobody that's going to compete against you for your job ever. I mean, like the punter might be the best person to compete against you. That's what we're going to do. And, it got me to thinking, though, a lot of teams are kind of in that situation where the drop off from 1 to 2 is pretty significant. Now, I don't know if Buffalo has a pretty good situation. I wouldn't trust Trubisky for the entire year, but could I trust Trubisky for a game not to screw it up? Yeah, with the right coaching, and you just make sure he don't play out of himself. I would. Would I trust him to be the starter? No. Would I trust Taysom Hill to back up Jameis Winston for a game? Yeah, I seen him do it. Would I trust him to be the 16-game starter? Hell no. I didn't even realize that Geno Smith was Russell Wilson's backup till I was prepping for the show. Ooh. I thought he was gone. But so when we're looking at these teams today and I'm looking at their backups, I'm like, well, they ain't in no better position either. For instance, LA Rams, Matt Stafford, John Wolford. Who? That's his backup. You're looking at the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray, then Colt McCoy. Okay. I mean, Colts actually had some snaps and reps in the NFL. Justin Herbert's backup, Chase Daniel. Huh? Las Vegas Raiders. I know it's going to do that. Marcus Mariota is Derek Carr's backup. Okay. Well, he actually used to start for Tennessee before Tannehill kicked him out. But then you look at Patrick Mahomes, Chad Henne. Chad Henne's still playing football. Yeah. That's his backup. They're not even carrying a third quarterback. And then, of course, we'll talk about the Denver Broncos with two backups, one starting, which is Teddy Bridgewater, and then Drew Lock. So, and maybe Ben DiNucci's on his way there.
Yeah, those are the waters that Cam are unfortunately swimming in right now, the backup position. Now, he could be king of the backups.
Wouldn't he?
As far as starting quarterbacks right now, he has a lot left to prove to show teams that he could be that Cam of old.
Could you see him backing up Ben Roethlisberger?
Oh, yeah. I'd jump all over that.
Right?
In a heartbeat.
Could you see him backing up or starting for Washington?
Yes, sir. No doubt about it.
He already knows the system. He wouldn't even have to.
No brainer in Washington.
Cool. I mean, okay. I heard the whole thing with Dallas and Cam's personality and being in Dallas. Yeah, I get that. But Washington, if y'all aren't calling and at least doing your due diligence, I mean, that's crazy. You're really good with Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke, Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Come on now. Is Cam going to ever give you 16 games? No. Could you see him backing up? Well, I wouldn't want to put him back in the NFC. Could you see him backing up Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's his hometown.
It's his hometown.
So that would go over really well.
There's so many teams I'm going, if he could accept being a backup, that wouldn't necessarily be the dumbest thing in the world.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting comments. Let me see what these comments are. Oh Lord, I had to look. So my man Brad out there says Cam will start somewhere in this league for at least half of the season, but I don't want him. Brad is my resident LA Rams fan. Well, Brad, guess what? You're in luck because we're actually reviewing the NFC West today, so we will have a lot to say about your LA Rams. Brad also said, watch him out talking about my Rams. Looks like Teddy has weapons this year, unlike what he had to work with in Carolina. Just saying. Well, Brad, we're going to dive into those Denver Broncos since you said that. I need you to tell me what weapons exactly he has. So I see that you're responding to the post. Help me with this show with these Denver Broncos because I see that you have Melvin Gordon as your running back. I don't know how much he has left because the Chargers didn't think he did. He doesn't really. His backup is Javonte Williams. Now, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that Javonte Williams from North Carolina?
Yeah, running back.
Running back. Okay. So if you ask me, can the running back combo of Javonte and Melvin Gordon be some semblance? Depends on the offensive line. It really does. They can't run through, nothing. They got to be able to create some holes for them. Now, Javonte Williams, because me being a Tar Heel, I got to watch him and my other guy got is now with the Jets. Is it Michael Williams? Was it Williams? Yeah, or Carter. Carter. Yeah, Carter. So I think they're both going to be great running backs. They were in Carolina. I mean, I remember games where they both had over 100 yards rushing in the same game. Yeah. Those are some good running backs. But if you can't establish the run, it's going to be hard to pass and vice versa. All right, so he says Gordon, Cortland Sutton is back, and that beast of a tight end they have. The beast is Noah Fant. Noah Fant is a good tight end. And you know what? For somebody like Teddy Bridgewater, the tight end may be your best friend. Denver will be a problem this year. Yes, they will.
It's going to be a passing problem.
Yeah, they're going to be a problem. I guarantee you they're going to be a problem. But not the way that you probably meant. The problem is going to be they're going to be thinking, damn, who's going to be the quarterback next year? So that's the problem, is figuring out who's going to be under center, because they haven't had stability at that position since Peyton Manning went off into the sunset. I mean, just keeping it real, he's like, keeping it real. You need to figure out what your future is going to be. You can't just keep playing year to year. You got to figure out what you're going to do for the future. And they have just not addressed that. They've missed on a lot of their drafts. They don't have a seasoned veteran in to try to lead some young guys and everything else. And they just stay mediocre. And in the AFC West, you can't afford to do that when you're in the same division as. See, here's the problem, Brad. Did they get better than Kansas City?
Big problem.
Did they get better than the Raiders? Did they get better than the Chargers? You've got Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, and Justin Herbert in your division. And guess what? You got to play them all twice.
Yeah. And right now, that is not looking good as far as a record. You're trying to go up against Kansas City. Look, that's 0-2 right there. Let's just put it out there. You may split with the Raiders because you've done a good job with that over time.
Yeah.
But, okay, I'll give you one of those. The Chargers and the improvements that the Chargers have made this year, you're not getting one of those games.
Oh,
Denver, I mean, you got Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
Pretty good wide receiver, like you're saying. Jerry Jeudy, he's another fantastic rookie.
He is.
From last year. Receiving core is just average, though. I mean, neither one of those guys.
Because there's no depth. After those two that you just mentioned?
Right. Huge fall off.
Huge.
Noah Fant's a decent tight end. Decent. I mean, he's not up there with the Kelseys of the world and help me out with some other tight ends, the Andrews of the world.
Or Hunter Henry or Gesicki. Yeah. I mean,
the problem is, we just talked about this.
Waller.
Consistency. Those folks that we just named don't bring any consistency. They might have a great game here or there, but they are not going to be consistent over time.
Right.
Javonte Williams is a really good back. He's a rookie, though, and we'll see what he does. He'll probably take over from Melvin Gordon at some point down the line. But you want to flip it over to the defense. Whew. Von Miller, aging, not the same Von Miller that stripped the ball from Cam Newton in the Super Bowl year. You got Bradley Chubb, who's a really good, decent linebacker, but who helps him out?
Right.
I don't see any names up here. You got in the secondary, Kareem Jackson, who's a really good safety.
Yep.
You surround him with the Justin Simmons and the Ronald Darby's or just average. Denver is going to have a hard one this year. I got them. I don't know if we're supposed to be doing pecking order right now.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I got them last in the division, man. I
just easily.
See it for them.
Because Rand, here's the other thing that you brought up. Number one, they're playing a 3-4 defense. So if your front guys can't get any kind of pressure on the quarterback, he gonna light y'all up. And if you get to a point where you're having to play from behind, who gives a crap about Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams? They can't run you back into the game. You're going to end up having to play from behind with Teddy Bridgewater as your quarterback. So even though you got Jerry Jeudy and you got Sutton, is he going to be able to get him the ball? Last seen, Teddy Bridgewater had DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson on a team and couldn't get the ball pushed down the field.
Yeah.
Last seen Teddy Bridgewater trying to do fourth quarter comebacks. He was 0-8.
Not happening, man.
So you're bound to get behind because I see a lot of 3 and outs from this offense. I see a lot of short flipping the field, turnover, short fields. So now when you're putting the ball in Bridgewater's hands to have to come from behind, you are asking. You are begging for trouble. So I believe you when you say Denver will be a problem this year. The problem is Bridgewater, if he had to play from behind a lot, is going to contend with Jameis Winston, being a 30 interception quarterback. That's going to be your problem. So I hate to down them like that, but I don't see a lot of good things. So I do agree with you. I believe they are going to be at the very, very bottom of this division. Now, the only question is, who's going to be above them? Is it going to be the Chargers or is it going to be the Raiders? Or do you see the Kansas City Chiefs taking a step back?
I don't see the Chiefs losing any momentum at all. Where are we going to go? We're going to go there next, Kansas City.
Let's go on to the Chiefs. Might as well.
Let's go on to Kansas City. As long as they got Mahomes standing, and as long as they got Kelsey standing, that is an unstoppable force at offense. We talked about this last year. Kelsey is a problem. We're talking problems. Kelsey is a man-made
That
problem.
is a nightmare.
You don't have defensive backs who are large enough to jump with him.
You're a grown man.
Yeah. And the linebackers that you put on them, they might have the size, but they don't have the speed to stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a first down waiting to happen, man.
Right.
He is a touchdown situation every time they hit the 10-yard line. Kansas City, they got their back. What's his name?
Clyde Hilaire.
Thank you.
Clyde Edwards-Hilaire.
Getting his name. He ain't got no worse.
No, he's got it. He was a rook last year, so he hit his rookie wall. Because I remember at the very beginning of the season, before he carried one ball, you flat out said to me, B, the rookie of the year is going to be this running back in Kansas City. And I was like, huh? That little dude? You like, watch. And his first couple of games, I was like, whoa. Yeah. He was so electric. He got an injury or something kind of in the season. It slowed him down a little bit, and he kind of didn't get that same momentum back. But, man, if he starts out like he did last year and can keep that going a little bit longer, and now he's got Darrell Williams and Jerick McKinnon actually in the backfield with him so they can change it up. And then you got the monster of all monsters, no net Tyreek Hill. Oh, my God. You got no net Tyreek. You got Kelsey. You got Edwards-Hilaire. You can't jam the box.
No.
You have to double. You got to spy Mahomes. You got to do something. You got to knock Hill off the block. If you let him just go straight, it's over.
There are so many things to worry about with the Kansas City offense if you're trying to game plan a defensive scheme for them. You got my man that could go over the top and just blow the top off anything. You got to put two on him, basically.
And will make you look stupid if you in front of him. You talking about yards after a catch? He gonna go by you. I mean, and I've seen this dude run from one side, flip the field, run from one side of the field to the other side of the field. They still couldn't catch him. So listen, once Tyreek Hill gets the ball, and they're smart with him, they just don't run traditional post patterns or anything like that with him. They can run him out the backfield. They can throw slants. He can catch all of them. You always talk about a quarterback that he can hit all his throws. This is a receiver that is a Swiss Army knife. He runs all of the route trees. He even catches the reverses and the laterals. What are you going to do with that? Your linebackers and safeties are at his mercy. Yeah. Only person that can really catch up with Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. So I'm sorry. That's it. So we both agree that they're going to finish first.
They're not going anywhere. As long as you got Kelsey standing and as long as you got Mahomes standing, they are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
First pick in that division. Easy decision.
And see, the thing is that the one thing that I worried about with them last year, and it was true, they would have a tendency sometimes to take a break on you.
Yeah.
So they would jump out to these leads, and you would think, "Oh man, there's no way we're going to catch up." And next thing you know, they're only up by like 7 or 6, and they lead you to believe we got a chance. And then Mahomes goes, "Oh, okay," and he wakes up, and they take back over. But they do take those little mid-game siestas, which Andy Reid has to do a better job with that. He's got to keep them engaged the entire game. But they do. I saw that a couple of times where I'm like, that's going to come back to haunt you. Y'all got to stop doing that. But they're basically trying to sleepwalk through the regular season and get back to the chip. That's it.
I think they will do that too. Sleepwalk through the regular season and put themselves in playoff contention and see what happens.
Yep. And we still got Mr. Matthew back there in the defense. So they run a 4-3 D as well. So I think their defense is going to be just fine. Their offense is what's really going to be the main thing. So like you said, as long as you can keep Patrick Mahomes standing up, then it's going to be hard to really slow them down at all. Looking at the LA Chargers, their quarterback coming back was somebody that we didn't expect to play last year until Tyrod's chest got punctured. And that would be Justin Herbert. So this is a guy that had an unbelievable campaign last year, even without. Now, for rookies, not having a preseason is crazy. But all Justin Herbert did last year was throw for 4,336 yards to be sixth in the league. He threw 31 touchdowns, which was 10th. He only threw 10 interceptions for a rookie, tied for 18. His QBR was 69.5 as a rookie.
Insane. And normally I would say beware of the sophomore slump with quarterbacks.
Right.
I don't see it coming with this guy. I don't see it coming.
My God, if he gets better than 31 touchdowns and 4,300 passing yards,
right?
Oh man, what? That don't even sound right. But that's what he did. Eckler comes back. Justin Jackson comes back. Josh Kelly comes back as the running backs. You got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer as his receivers. And then you talking about tight ends, you got Jared Cook.
Yeah, big addition after losing Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Big addition.
Yeah. Nice wide body, can catch that ball across the middle. Good blocking tight end too. Yes. So that's what you want, even with the chips and stuff like that. He ain't got to hold the man for 2 or 3 seconds. He just got to chip him, keep that end off of him a little bit. That's all Herbert needs. Keep him off his tail, and he gonna light you up.
Yeah.
See, Brad, that's what I'm saying. You got Herbert, and then you got Teddy Bridgewater.
Big difference. Big difference.
Just say it. So if you put Herbert on the Broncos and he had Jerry Jeudy and Sutton, totally different conversation.
Absolutely.
Totally different.
Absolutely.
Then your running backs are going to have a field day. Totally agree with you. But yeah, they're stacked, dude. I like the Chargers.
I love the Chargers, and
then they play a 3-4 defense too. They got Bosa. Bosa can stay healthy. That's going to be a very, very decent defense as well. Chris Harris Jr. is out there. Asante Samuel Jr. Is playing as a. They got him as a cornerback. Okay, he's going to be as a cornerback. So they got some good guys in the backfield. Their front guys are going to be pretty good too. So I think the Chargers are going to push Kansas City the entire year. He said, watch, the league will adjust to Herbert like him, but keep an eye out for the sophomore jinx. I do agree that there could be somewhat of a letdown. But, dude, I'm telling you, he had 31 touchdowns. If he passes for 3,800 yards, I'm still good with that. Because that may mean that Eckler and and Justin Jackson are getting wild in that backfield. If you can't keep the running backs at bay, and they're giving him time to throw that ball, good luck, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going to stop them, honestly. The only thing that's going to – you're right, though, Brad. If they figure him out to the point where defenses will adapt, start anticipating if he's showing a lot of things pre-snap that the safeties and corners can sit there and jump on, and that leads to interceptions and things like that, I agree with you. But, again, in that division, they got to play the Broncos twice, so at least they can get 2 wins off of that. Then you got to look at the rest of their season too. So when I'm looking at their schedule for this year, they start out at Washington. I'm gonna eat a W on that one. Then they play Dallas at home September the 19th. I'm gonna eat a W on that one. Then they got to play Kansas City and then Las Vegas and then Cleveland and Baltimore. That's going to be a stretch right there. That stretch right there will probably tell you what you need to know about the Chargers when they have to go against Kansas City, Vegas, Cleveland, Baltimore. The problem is, so those are the first 6 games. If they come out of that 3-3, that's really not bad because check it out. Their next 3 games, New England, Philadelphia, and Minnesota. So they can be 6-3. So, out of 9 games. So, and they got some more cream puffs now. They do have to play the Steelers. They do have to play the Bengals. They do have to play the Giants. Bro, the Broncos defense is healthy this year. They have the best team. Yeah, but you're deep. Listen, Brad, if you take a defense that has a poor offense, who's on the field more, the offense or the defense? If Bridgewater can't sustain drives, then the defense is seeing the field too much, and even the best defense is going to get gassed. And if you're playing short fields and the other team is scoring, even if it's 3 and you can't even score 3, and you're having to be on the field longer, I agree with you. The defense can be as good as Denver's defense is typically pretty good. For the most part, they were kind of like Seattle for the longest, where they just added another cog here and there, and the defense was decent. But you got to be able to the NFL right now is all about time of possession and clock management. I'm feeling some real hate on Teddy B. I'm giving it to you because he was sad in Carolina. So maybe that, you know what? It's not that I'm giving you hate on him, but I've seen him up close. I'm not being misguided or fooled by, everybody loves Teddy. He's a great locker room guy. He had a great story at Louisville. It was a shame what happened to his leg up in Minnesota. All of that stuff is true. He is a decent backup. He should not be starting on any team in this league. Kaepernick. So he should be where he needs to be. But do you honestly see Teddy Bridgewater coming from behind and getting a team over the hump? He couldn't do it. He had 8 opportunities last year at Carolina. He went 0 for 8. And it wasn't because Robbie Anderson wasn't getting open. It wasn't because DJ Moore wasn't getting open. He could not get the ball out to him. Honestly, it looked like a lot of times when he could have taken off and run for the first down, he looked hesitant. It was almost like visions of him breaking his leg would enter his mind, and it hindered him. So I believe that Teddy could be a good backup. But do I believe he's going to lead the Denver Broncos? Bro, I tell you what. Keep watching the show. If Denver surprises us, but how are they going to surprise us? Do you see them doing anything? If they can't get to at least second in the AFC West, what will it mean anyway? They're not going to get to the playoffs. He said, wow. Right, I'm trying to talk him off the cliff. Anyway, so I think, back to the Chargers. I don't know between the Chargers, though, and the Raiders, who's going to finish second? Who do you think is going to finish second?
I got the Chargers finishing second, and I think their defense puts them over the top.
Is it a close second, or do you really think there's a distinction between 2 and 3?
It's a close second because we're talking, Herbert in his second year, so of course he could take a step back. That could happen.
Yeah.
But just the Chargers, the other weapons that they have offensively, they got a dual threat at running back, and both of those guys are good. I mean, Eckler is hurt a lot, but they didn't lose too much steam with Justin Jackson last year when he came in.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as Herbert is standing, he's got his man Keenan Allen, his favorite weapon. That's an unstoppable combination offensively. But then on the defensive side, they're better than the Raiders are. You
Yeah.
got Osa coming off the edge. In the secondary, their secondary is stacked. They got Chris Harris Jr. They got the draft pick Asamier Samuels, who I wanted in Carolina desperately.
Me too.
That kid
Ball
is
hawk.
Ball hawk, exactly. So Darren James is another tremendous safety that came out. So I can't see the Chargers going below the Raiders. I think it will be close, but I got the Chargers sitting number 2, and then the Raiders coming in third. Your man Brad text back in, call back in when we're halfway through the year and the Broncos are already out of it, and you're gonna see what we're trying to tell you.
They're gonna be like the Cowboys. The Cowboys season normally ends before Thanksgiving. I think the Broncos season gonna end on September the 13th. And Brad just said Eckler is amazing. Chargers are exciting. They are going to be exciting to watch. They're gonna light up the scoreboard. As you know, in a league where you see a lot of teams and the games are very, very close. I see Chargers having a lot of shootouts, man. I see a lot of scoring on the field. The only thing that would keep them from scoring so much is if the coach just said, "Nah, I'm gonna call off the dogs and stuff." But the same thing with the Raiders. The Raiders are just kind of an enigma with me. I see them as a close second, and it just kind of depends on what version of Derek Carr we get. Because you just sometimes just don't know. And I don't know if sometimes that's because of what Gruden is placing on him or if that's just really Derek Carr. I've seen Derek Carr make a whole lot of different kinds of throws. I've seen him make some big stuff. I've seen him, but then I've seen him have some lapses in decision making where I just go, who is this dude? But he's got Josh Jacobs coming back. They added Kenyon Drake to shore that up. So he's got some power in the backfield. He's got his wide receivers, Ruggs. He's got Edwards. He's got Renfro. And then he's got a beast of a tight end, too, in Darren Waller. Now, Darren Waller, I mean, when we're talking about tight ends, only had 107 receptions, which is fourth most. Only received 1196 yards, which was 10th. And 9 touchdowns with an 11.2 average. So this dude is huge. This dude is just getting better and better and better. So Darren Waller is definitely going to be something to watch. This is your tight end. Kind of that same thing with having the Kelsey. He's a mismatch for your secondary. He really is. You don't know what to do with him. Ain't really a lot. And he's big. He's 6'6". So Brad is choosing the Chiefs. Brad. Brad.
Brad, take off the Broncos.
Listen. If I find out John Elway sending you a check, then I know something. Brad just picked the Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, and the Raiders. And you got to understand the talent that I have to actually read that straight through. I couldn't do it the first time. I choked. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sorry. I had to look at it again to make sure I'm not cross-eyed. I thought he was trying to go from last to first, but he had the Chiefs first. So I'm assuming that this is first to last. So you think the Broncos are going to finish second in the division with Teddy Bridgewater as the quarterback in a league where Justin Herbert and Derek Carr are in? Because of so you would almost have to say that the defense, the only way that's going to happen, Brad, is hell if the defense scoring more points than the offense. Von Miller better find a Lazarus pit and get the fountain of youth going. Good God Almighty, man! What the hell, Brad? I love you, you know I do, but man, that's some crack. Well, you smoking it out. Next thing you're gonna tell me is that your beloved Rams are gonna win the Super Bowl. Uh-oh. Stay tuned. Anyway, I agree with you on that, bro. I know we get close to our time too. So I think it's going to be easily the Chiefs, Chargers. He says I'm done. Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, and then of course the Broncos. Are you in that same?
I am same situation.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the Raiders lineup. The wide receivers got me shaking my head, man. Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, Hunter Renfro. Those are not guys that are going to do it for you on a consistent basis. Yeah, you got Waller. Yeah, you have an amazing running back, but it pretty much stops at that point. Defensively, I don't even have to touch the defense. They got two amazing safeties. At least one who I think will be amazing. In Trayvon Merrick, he's going to be a beast. They already have Jonathan Abrams, but it
Yeah.
stops right there. Defense is part of the game. Same as offense. Raiders defensively are just they don't have enough to take over that second spot in the AFC West. So yeah, I got the
And,
same
and,
as you got.
and, and again, that's what's worrying me is that any defense can be made to look mediocre and ordinary if the offense is keeping them on the field too long. Those guys are not built to be out there 25, 35 minutes in a game. If you got them on the field the whole time, just basically, and it's gonna be over time, it's gonna wear them out. So are you really gonna tell in the first half? No. But by the end of the third quarter, first of the fourth quarter, and that defense starts running out of gas, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
The offense ain't scoring points, the defense ain't scoring points. I don't see it. I don't see it. All right, let's jump real quick to the NFC West. NFC West, where we've got the Arizona Cardinals, who are coming back with Kyler Murray. I think now in his fourth year or third year.
I can't remember. I think this is his third year.
I think it's his third. Yeah, with Colt McCoy as his backup, you've got Chase Edmonds in the backfield with your man James Conner as his backup. How about that? James Conner found a place to land. And then we've got some receivers for him. The usual suspects in D Hop, AJ Green, and Christian Kirk. Kirk had a really, really nice year last year. A lot of people always focus on AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins, and rightfully so. But Kirk did have 48 receptions, 621 yards, 6 touchdowns, but he was crazy to try to guard. He's only 5'11", 200 pounds. And but he is so freaking fast. And what makes him a threat is the fact that you've already got a running quarterback, and then you got this other dude that you have to watch for. As Murray takes off, he's looking for him while he's running. And if he gets the ball out to him in space when he's running, he's going to make you miss. He's going to make you look crazy. So keep an eye on Christian Kirk. I look for him to even have a bigger, greater year than he did last year. DeAndre Hopkins, I think he's going to be even better this year too, being able to work with Kyler. Him and Kyler did a lot of improv last year, but if they can get on the same page with a lot of these plays, it's going to be something else. And then you got AJ Green. If he can even bring back 75% of what he was in Cincy, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. I'm not a big Cardinals person. I'm not, because I'm worried about Kyler Murray actually being able to make it through a season. He worried me all of last season because I'm like, somebody going to put one good lick on him and it's over. I just keep seeing RG3 every time I see these small running quarterbacks. Johnny Manziel's. Yeah, they got the arm. They can make the throws and stuff like that, but you're so small that when somebody lay that wood on you, I don't know if you're getting up or not. So I've always worried about that with Kyler Murray. I'm just not sold on him being durable. So what do you think about that?
The West is just going to be a war this year.
Yes.
See, this is a really difficult division for me. It really is, because when you go up and down the roster for the Cardinals, I mean, offensively, they should light it up.
Yeah.
You got AJ Green, as you were just saying. You got D Hop, Christian Kirk as your wide receivers, and even a rookie that I was in love with, Rondale Moore. Watch out.
Mm-hmm.
That kid is going to burn and take the tops off a lot of defense if he gets an opportunity.
Yeah.
You got Chase Edmonds and James Conner, running backs who are durable and can do it. Not durable, let me take that part back, but running backs who are capable of putting up numbers. Then defensively, you got J.J. Watt added to an already good
Oh
defense.
my God.
Chandler Jones coming out the
Yes.
other side. And Isaiah Simmons, another crazy good athlete from where did he come from? Clemson? I can't remember. Um, and Zaven
Isaiah
Collins,
Simmons came from Clemson. You're right. Yep.
yeah, Zaven Collins is another outstanding rookie. So all those names I'm shouting out sounds really crazy for me to say that this team is probably going to finish last in the division. It sounds crazy for me to say that, but that's just how talented that the West is. They're
You know,
stacked. They're really
if
stacked.
they were in the NFC East, they would be first.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Clearly. But this reminds me years ago when in the NBA, the Western Conference's team that would finish 8th and just make the playoffs would be like the 3rd seed in the East.
Really? Yeah.
It's that kind of thing where you're looking at it and going, if not for the fact that you're playing in the AFC West, you would have a shot in another division. So outside of their division, they may rack up a couple of games and still not make the playoffs because of who's in front of them. And I totally agree with you. I think they're going to finish last. Who do you have finishing 3rd?
Man, you're gonna laugh at this one. A lot of people have.
Hawks.
I got Seattle finishing 3rd.
I agree. I totally agree.
Oh, okay.
I'm with you, brother. I totally agree. I'm not gonna laugh. I mean, you know, sometimes you have to look at who's in front of you, not who somebody used to be.
Right.
And Seattle been living off of the 12th man. They've been living off of the Legion of Boom. The only thing that's there is Russell Wilson from all of that. That's it. We love Russ, and I still get amazed every time he throws off his back foot to lock it, and somehow they hit it in the end zone. And I know good and well, hell, he didn't see where that ball was going. He just, you know, Russ does Russ, right? I'm like, he wasn't even looking.
Right.
Because he's like Drew Brees. He has to throw on his tiptoes for one because he's so freaking short. And you know good and well that he just knew like he was going to go get that ball. He had no idea where the hell that ball was in the air. But he does
float down in the corner of the end zone to the wide receiver just over the defense.
Right in the basket. I'm just like, how the hell did he do? Yeah, I still ain't figured it out. I've seen him do it too many times to keep going. No, that couldn't have been luck because he keep doing it. I don't know how he's doing it, but that's Russ.
Yeah.
So he's got Chris Carson coming back. He's got Rashard Penny in the backfield behind him. He's got DK Metcalf, fast as hell. He got Tyler Lockett. Gerald Everett was with the Rams, right?
Right.
Everett. Right. Okay, so he's got him. Now, Disley was his other tight end, and Disley is still there as well. So he's got some familiar targets. And with Russ can take some sub to mediocre folks and kind of make them a lot better. I don't see Moore as his receiver this year, so I guess Moore is gone. I don't know what happened to Moore.
I don't either.
That was one of his good receivers too. But
he came to Carolina, just released today. I forgot.
Really?
Yeah, we released David Moore today. Yep.
Okay. That's right. He sure did. And then, but you know, the thing I worry about with Seattle is the defense.
Me too. My concern too. Yep.
I mean, you got Bobby Wagner in the middle, but Bobby was like what, 70, 75? And you know what? He would be he's probably better than half of the other MLBs, but then you got to look at okay, he's playing Mike. You got your weak side and you got your strong side. So if you have help there, then you got a good run stop there. But Bobby's getting old, man. The defense is getting old.
Yes, and that was my concern too.
So, and again, to my point, when you're playing San Francisco and the Rams twice, the only thing you're gonna be like is, and then I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't even throw Arizona as a win for you. To me, that's a toss-up.
That's a toss-up, man.
That's a toss-up. You might split.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you can't pull your division in the AFC, it's going to be hard. I mean, you could very well be a 9-win team. That ain't going to get it in the West. You're going to have to win 11, 12 games in the West to have a chance to get to the playoff. There's too many teams in the AFC that can win 12 games. There's too many of them. You got Tennessee, you got Buffalo, you got Pittsburgh, you got Cleveland, you got Baltimore. What we taking? 7, right?
Yeah. 7.
If you win in 9 games, then all you doing is playing for draft position. Pretty much. And that's okay. You got to build somehow, but you really can't do a whole lot more with that. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Lord. What Brad say now? Malachi Crunch and the Rams deliver it for free. What did he say? It's hard. It ain't hard to tell Rams and who gives a F after that. So he says the Rams are going to win the division. Well, okay, Brad. I don't know if that's true because I'm struggling with number 2. I don't know if it's going to be the 49ers or if it's going to be the Rams. Where you rest on that, Ram?
Man, again, it's a hard decision. I got the 49ers as second. I think the Rams have really gone all out Super Bowl or bust mode. But, I mean, the 49ers are right there. They would have been there last year had it not been for all of the injuries. But the Niners have an amazing defense. So we could start right there with the other Bosa brother.
Yeah.
You got
Nick. Yeah.
You got Nick Greenlaw Bosa as one of the linebackers. In the secondary, you got guys like Jimmy Ward. I don't know. This division is just really, really hard.
This is sick. And you know what? I'm gonna eke out the 49ers barely. It's like 1-1A. It could easily be the Rams. I ain't saying that, Brad, because I know you're a Rams fan and you're gonna try to kill me the next time you see me. It's real, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I honestly think it's gonna come back to which quarterback stays healthy.
Yeah.
If Matt Stafford stays healthy, he got a chance because everybody knows Matt Stafford's resume. Okay, he ain't never had a playoff game or win or whatever. But Jimmy Garoppolo, that's a lot to put on him as well. Now, Jimmy has some serious weapons. He got Mostert. He's got Debo. He's got George Kittle. I'll give him that. And when you look at Stafford, he's got Cooper Kupp. He's got Robert Woods. He's got Henderson in the backfield. They just signed Sony Michel. They're going to be stacked. Our defense is better. Best D lineman in the game. I agree with that. Best cornerback in the game. I agree. 49ers don't have a quarterback. Jimmy G is not as far off as you think. He was hurt a lot, and that affected his play. Last seen healthy, Jimmy G was actually a serviceable quarterback. He's got Kittle. He's got Mohamed Sanu. He's got what's the guy's name? Brandon Ayuk. He's, like I said, he's got Debo Samuel. He's got Mostert. As long as he can keep the running game moving the sticks, and he only has to play those 3-step drops, get the ball out fast, those kind of things like that. And listen, the other thing it's going to come down to is a position that ain't even on the field, and that's coaching. That's coaching. I like Shanahan, and I dang sure oh Lord, what's my man name for the Chargers? Oh Lord, I like him too. He's a good coach. Now that I can't think of his name, that's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, he'll come back to me in a second. But so they're both stacked, Brad. I know you're a Rams fan, but you got to admit this could be 1-1A. It's really going to depend on who stays healthy.
In that Trey Lance situation as well.
Trey Lance, you know, if Jimmy G starts off slow, the fans are going to scream for Trey Lance. I saw they lost the reason they were successful. He's the Jets now. Coaching the we'll see about that. Is it McVay?
McVay?
Is that his name? Yeah. So the coach. So I know what you mean by the Jets' new coach used to be on that team, but I still think that a lot of that came from the head coach. I agree with you. I don't think that's why they were all successful. It did help, truly, because it helped him get his next job. But I also think that Lance will be a wild card, but he ain't ready for prime time. I know, and it was kind of weird what they did in that last preseason game where they kept taking Jimmy out, putting Trey in for a couple of plays. And I just think that he did that to really kind of see what the youngin would do under the lights. But here's the good thing. As long as Jimmy plays decent, doesn't start making a lot of bad decisions, he'll get a chance to come in, maybe do some Taysom Hill kind of things. I'm not saying run the ball, but he'll be able to kind of come in and have some design plays. Well, hell, he probably will run the ball, actually, now I think about Trey Lance. Yeah, they probably have some design plays for him. I don't think he'll just sit on the bench all year. They may have some Flacco, Lamar Jackson kind of things where they bring him in for a couple of plays and stuff like that. I don't think it will be the way that they did it in this last preseason game where it was back and forth, though. So at the end of the day, in conclusion, I've got San Francisco. I'm sorry. I've got, who did I say? Yeah, I got San Francisco, the Rams. Who else is it? And the Cardinals are last. And then who else was it?
San Francisco, Rams, Cardinals, Seattle.
Seattle third. Wow. But, you know, Seattle being third is still better than a lot of teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
I take Seattle over Minnesota. I'll take Seattle over Dallas. Anything in the NFC East. I'll take Seattle over Atlanta. I'll take Seattle. Yeah, I mean, you name it. There's a lot of NFC teams that I would take Seattle over, but them being in the West, it's going to be hard to see them even think about the playoffs this year. I just don't see it happening. So, well, I know we got to wrap. We'll actually have our last preseason show next week, right before the regular season. He's at Peace Great Show. Thanks, Brad. And we will talk about the NFC North and the AFC South. Any last words, Rand?
No, we'll see what happens with the remainder of these cuts and signings. I'm sure that's not done. But I'm keeping an eye on Carolina, keeping an eye on Pittsburgh to see what happens between now and the start of the season, as far as who we add to the roster and who we give away to.
So. Always. All right. Well, listen, thanks for everything. Thanks for your time. I will see y'all next week. Y'all take care. See ya. Peace.